on social justice, community, and crime. Today, we want to focus on what is social justice. Who makes up the community? Why is crime in our community? And how can we alleviate crime in our community? The Oxford Dictionary gives the definition for social justice as a fair distribution of wealth and opportunities within a society. Fair distribution. And I want you to keep that in mind as we move on. And who makes up the community? Merriam-Webster Dictionary explains that it's the people with common interest who live and work within a community. And there are many types of community, but for our season 2, we are focusing on the community that includes all of us. We live, we work, we play, we have fun, we pray, we worship. All of us are within this community. Keep that in mind as well as we move on. But why is crime in our community? If you recall, or if you're not aware, the first crime that ever happened on earth was the crime of one brother killing another. Cain killed his brother Abel. So crime started right in the home. Jealousy, anger, not wanting to listen, not wanting to follow instructions. That was Cain. And he took the life of his brother. Let's talk about another young man who also killed his brother, Absalom. That was years later. But Absalom killed his brother, not because of jealousy this time, but because his brother had raped their sister. Heinous crimes. The father did nothing about it, and that was King David. He did nothing about this atrocity that took place in his home with his children. And therefore, Absalom took it upon himself in anger to kill his brother. Crimes starting right there in the home. Parents, you have a responsibility beyond feeding and clothing your children. Are you aware of what your children are doing when they're behind closed doors? They have their phones, computers, gaming system. What type of games are they playing? Shouldn't you be concerned about that? What are they learning from these games? Who are they playing with? How much screen time are they allowed each day, each week? Are they reading? If they are, what are they reading? What are they listening to? What type of music do you play in your home? What sort of conversations do you have with them? Do you know their friends? Are their friends welcomed in your home? Your responsibility goes beyond feeding and clothing them. Remember, crime started in a home. One brother taking the life of another. Later down in history, there we see another brother taking the life of his brother. I'm encouraging you today to begin to think about what your children are doing. How can we alleviate crime in the community? We must work together without judgment. Work together in love. Work together as a community with a commitment to help to reduce the crime in our society, in our communities. All of us are affected. It's not just one person. It's not just the parents who will have to get involved. It's not just the church or the government or the leaders in the communities, but all of us must get involved. I'll be sharing a video with you, a part of a video.
And as a criminologist, part of my work is about trying to understand what causes young people to be violent, asking that most important question, why? Why would a young person that is 16, 15, 17 years old want to pick up a knife and just stab someone at random and they've never met them before? Why would someone want to pick up a gun just because someone lives in a completely different postcode and be prepared to shoot it? Why would someone be prepared to kill a child on a school bus just because they're looking at them for 10 seconds? And the fact of the matter is, there's not one answer to answer why young people arrive at that particular point. There's actually a series of factors: dysfunctional families, father absence, racism, poor identities, dysfunctional homes. But one thing that really sticks out for me when I'm analyzing this type of thing is this one word about invisibility. Invisible. What I find in my work is that most young people in our society are invisible, unseen, unheard. And if anybody knows the history of cultures and communities, that when people feel oppressed, when people feel invisible, when people feel unheard, sometimes they do things in order to be visible. So, we might not be able to understand why a young person gets on the bus one day and feels that in order to get credibility, I need to hurt somebody, I need to rob somebody's phone. Our young people are invisible. Sure, you've heard this saying before. Takes a village to raise a child. We always talk about the village. But I would like to extend on that by saying, yes, it takes a village to raise a child, but when you don't recognize the village, sometimes that village can kill a child. And there's also another saying in that same school of thought, that if young people don't feel a part of that village, they will burn it down to feel its warmth. I'll say it one more time. If young people feel they are not part of our village, they will burn it down to feel its warmth.
You heard that? Young people want to be seen. They want to be heard. Give them structure and a lot of love. Even when it's hard, we must continue to love them. As I end today's episode, I want to remind those of you who were released from your jobs to believe in yourself. You were released from that job to shine. For those who are released from prison or a correctional facility, you were released from that facility to shine. Blessings.